Hi, everybody. I'm Missy Hughes. I'm a productivity coach, and today I'm going to talk to you about developing a system for making decisions. Be sure to go to the comments after the video and tell me what felt useful for you. As well, find there the link to sign up for your free guide to how to make strong decisions. In the guide, you'll learn why you feel stressed about making decisions and solutions you can start right now to make a confident choice. So let's get into that framework of creating strong decisions. You have a decision to make. You've got options. Maybe there are two options, maybe there are many options, but you're getting kind of frozen about making the decision. So, some things that are likely happening when you're not making decisions. Number one, you're probably overthinking it. You're ruminating over what the worst case scenario is. You're like, oh, I'm going to fail this way, and these people are going to think that, and this is going to be terrible because, and you're stuck in that kind of dark place where it's not working. um, Number two, you're probably confused. You're telling yourself, I don't know what the right decision is. I don't know what I should do. I don't know how to make this decision. And so when you tell yourself that you don't know enough, then you don't make the decision. Number three, the third thought pattern that you're probably practicing when you're not making decisions is you have a fear of getting it wrong. There's a right way and a wrong way, and I really don't want this wrong way to happen because that's going to make my whole world crumble. It's going to be the worst thing ever. And when you're assuming there's a right and a wrong, your body, and we do this naturally because how we survive is surviving. Our body's going to look to the danger, it's going to look to the wrong, and we're going to get stuck there. So when you're afraid of doing it wrong, you sort of get hung up on that worst case scenario again. The fourth thing that you may be doing by when you're not making decisions is you're thinking you're only going to get one chance to make this decision. You're thinking, I can't miss. I can't fail at this because this is my chance. And if this doesn't work, nothing will work. Or if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to live with this, the repercussions of this decision for the rest of my life. I'm never going to be able to make it again. I'm never going to be able to reconsider. I'm never going to be able to make the next decision. So, all of these thought patterns result in paralysis. We avoid making the decision. Sometimes we avoid even thinking about it. We procrastinate all parts of it. And so the result is we don't make decisions. We just stay in that kind of terrible place if we are thinking about it that feels terrible. That overthinking, that confusion, fear, and only one chance. So let's look at what's wrong with these thought patterns. In the worst case scenario where you're overthinking, the worst case could prepare you to give insight of what to avoid, right? That might be helpful. But what it doesn't do is give insight to what's possible. It doesn't give you insight to the best case scenario. Um, it doesn't allow you to sort of experience the maybe to the positive. You're only stuck in the maybe to the negative. What if, oh, the terrible thing happens? Not what if it goes well. If you're thinking, I don't know enough, that could be a good thing. You could gain more information. You could be clear about that. But usually, when you're confused and you think, I just don't know how, I don't know what, I don't know, you're looking, that confusion is like a pause button. You don't take action to find out the details. You don't start figuring out what is it exactly that I need to know. You don't look at you don't drill into if I knew more about this, if I knew more about that, then I would feel confident in making this decision. When you think that there's a right or a wrong way to do it, the wrong way, it feels kind of true, right? Oh, okay, well, if I make the wrong choice, it could have negative repercussions. But that only opens you up to two options. You're either getting it right and all is well, or you're getting it wrong and all is terrible. But it doesn't give you that kind of sliding scale of gray area where this makes it a little bit better and this could make it a little bit worse, but I could still have this and it would be going well along that line. There's no there's no option, no definition of the gray area. There's also no defining what is success and what is failure. Clearly, it's just right or wrong. And what about this only one choice? If I don't get it right, if I miss, I don't get another chance. It doesn't give you the opportunity to evaluate. You're never getting the opportunity to make the next good decision. You're not considering that, okay, if this goes well, then I'll do that. Or if this goes poorly, then I'll do this. You don't give yourself the chance to change your mind, to think, okay, now I have new information. Now I'll make another decision. You think that making a decision makes the thing final, but it's not final. You still have to take action. Decision's just the first step. And when you only get that one chance to miss or to hit the target, then you're not seeing that timeline of progress. So all of these thought patterns, overthinking, confusion, fear of getting it wrong, only one chance, they have a baseline of fear underneath each of them. What will happen? You only have one plan and you're not really giving yourself options. You're also not really making a decision of how you'll show up for yourself in the process. When you don't give yourself that chance, you're usually pretty judgmental. If I get it wrong, I'll be so disappointed in myself. If I fail, everyone else will judge me and I'll probably agree with them. You're not looking at the opportunity for growth. You're just looking at the black and white of the situation. I either win or lose, I fail or succeed. You're probably not looking at it kindly. You're not looking at it with details. You're not looking at it with curiosity about what the different options might be. So when you're in these kind of tough mindsets, you give yourself that tough layer of, I'm not gonna, if you do it wrong, there's no other option to show up for you other than kind of with shame and disappointment. So also all of these thought patterns assume that once you decide, the thing is done. And it's actually not. The truth is, once you decide on a path, you still then have to define the path. You still have to take action on the path. You still have to set a start date and an evaluation date. You have to prioritize what actions come first and then next. So the decision is actually just like creating the first step of a path. It's not actually the whole path. So, what do we do? Number one, I want to encourage you to give decisions their own space. Decisions aren't the change you're looking for in your life. Decisions are the first step of the change. So, when you're making a decision is an action, but it's not all of the action of what you're looking for. It's a destination concept. It's not the plane ticket. It isn't tasting the wine when you get there. It's not the experience. Release the pressure that it's everything. It's not all of the steps and the final result. It's just the first step. When you put a decision on your to-do list, you still then have to put plan on your to-do list and begin taking action on your to-do list. So give the decision that space all its own so that you can consider all of the options, and you can let the pressure just be on that one first step, not assuming that it's all the steps. The second opportunity I want to give you is to give an identity to who you will be in the process. Decide how you're going to look at this decision. Are you a detective that's uncovering all the details? You're looking at the clues so that you can present a case? Are you an inventor, testing different hypotheses? You're creating different trials. So you get it wrong, you get it wrong, you get it wrong. And all of a sudden you have more information and more information about how to get it right. Are you a dictator that's forcing compliance and not allowing conversation and banter and curiosity into the decision? Or are you a teacher who you give a little direction and then allow the creativity of the student to see what happens? What can be created here? So each of these, the detective, I would encourage maybe not the dictator, but the detective and the inventor and the teacher all give a little bit of space for taking the pressure off, allowing some curiosity, allowing you to look at some details, consider them. What do they mean? You get to decide. The next thing I want to give you is when you're making a decision, think in terms of possibility. Our minds will always go, what if this goes wrong? But I want you to give time to what if this goes right? What would it look like? What if this goes really well? What will be all of the details of that? How will it feel? What will that open the door to next? Let your mind consider all the best possible outcomes for this decision. Imagine yourself winning in both cases, right? So whatever, if you're option A, option B, option C, option D, what does it look like for me to win in all of those options? Really sink into that. And lastly, I want you to define success, define failure before you even start. So as I'm considering option A, success would be if this happens. Failure would be if this happens. Okay, now I know. Option B, success, failure. Option C, success, failure. That way you're giving it's not a fearful thing that you're looking at, failure. Because what we'll do is, and when we get into any decision, we'll start looking for the failure. Where is it going to mess up? When's the shoe going to drop? So when you define success and you define failure, then you get to be a little bit freer with both possibilities, not as this thing I got to be afraid of, but just, here's when I know I'll need to make another decision. And also give yourself a point that you will evaluate. Give yourself a date. I'm going to make this decision this date. Then I'm going to start whatever I decide this date. Maybe a month, maybe a week, maybe 3 months. I'm going to look again and I'm going to look back at what has happened and I'm going to evaluate what went well, what didn't go well, what will I do differently, what's the next decision I'll make. So When you're thinking about decisions, it can be really natural to get into your mind and just let it go crazy. Let it go into the overthinking, fear, confusion. All of that is so normal. It is so optional for you as well. You can have confusion and fear and also take a look at the details. You don't have to eliminate all of those to also say, okay, I see you. That's confusion. If I'm confused, I'm going to create some details here. I'm going to be the detective and uncover some clues. Um, it's not wrong to be in those thought patterns, but you don't have to stay there. You have the option to really clarify, and when you're clarifying, you're giving the decision its own space. You're deciding how you're going to show up for it ahead of time. You're going to think in terms of all the winning that can be happening in all the situations. And you're going to define your success and failures and set an evaluation date. So go to the comments. Tell me what you have learned, what feels really meaningful to you from this video. Go and grab your link and sign up for your free guide to how to make decisions, and subscribe to the channel so that you get a notification every week when I upload a new video. Thank you for being here. See you soon.